Okay, we welcome you back. This is our discussion segment, and I would like to thank you very much for joining us. Are there power supplies in town? I wonder. And if there's not, you're supposed to be getting your gens set every morning to join Good Morning Anambra, because this is where it's happening, and you get well informed, educated, and also entertained. That's why we're here. Welcome. Okay, in this first segment, we're going to look at political debates in a democracy. Dave is here with me, and we also have gentlemen that have joined us to look at that. They are Professor Ezako Ifeanyi. Professor Ifeanyi Ezako is a lecturer with Paul University, Oka. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, everybody.
You're welcome. And I also have Kanayo Ubidibo, a public affairs analyst. He has joined Prof for us to look at this important topic this morning. Welcome again, Kanayo.
Thank you very much for having me again.
All right. Well, political debates among competing electoral candidates have become a campaign centerpiece in elections worldwide. At least more than 60 countries have developed a debate tradition, and then civil society groups have been critical in making that happen. Debate help voters to make informed choices and encourage candidates to focus on policy issues. Perhaps that is why we are looking at it today. Now, Professor Ezako, could you please help us throw more light on what political debate in a democracy is all about?
Yeah. In Dubai, political debate. Debate na no ku igba anyi kwa na nnaga nkwugo okwu ịnaga okwu. Then political bụ ọchịchị. Democracy bụ onye kwuo uche. Political debate in a democratic society. If Adam Barinne, we want to know who is coming up to be the president, who is coming up to be the governor, who is coming up to be the legislator, the state house. Because when we talk about this political debate, we only focus our attention on the apex, that is Aso Rock. But other areas are there. They can mess up every system if you don't subject them to public debate. You only focus on the president, who becomes the president. President has about two major areas of focus, and where that debate will be heard: the external influence and then the internal influence. External arrangements of the country, Nigeria, and other countries of the world. Okay,
before we get to that, Prof, we would also like to hear from Kanayo Obidibe what political debate is all about.
Yeah, dika prophecy we kuna political debate o ntogari uche. Onye kwuo oke, onye ọzọ ege ntị, okwu oke. In fact, political debate is the best ingredient in a political party campaign, in the sense that it gives the electorate the opportunity to weigh all the candidates and see who actually has got what it takes to become either the president, even within the party. Not to talk of within the, among party, within the party, debate is so important for you to be able to bring out who is your flag bearer within the party. That's why when you look,
saying there should be a debate before the primaries.
Of course, there must be a debate even within among yes, we saw it. 11 of them were there in the Republican Party, and Trump emerged. So that is what it should be. In Nigerian situation, there should be debate. And there must be debate. For us to know who you are, it is during that debate that we will be able to say, this man has something upstairs. This man has focus. This man has an idea. He has a mission. If we give him our vote, if we contract him, if we give him this job, he is going to, actually do the right thing while in the office. It is through the debate you will be convinced if he will do the job.
So, looking at history so far, the Nigerian political scene, Do you think the political debate culture is coming to stay? Do you think it's growing at the pace it should be? Even though you said that is what it should be.
Of course, you see the channel has been doing a good job on that, and the TVC is actually coming up. You know, you see how they move about from one state to the other, and then actually focus on candidates, and people will listen to them. So it is a new idea, and we are actually advocating that we embrace it more, so that people at the grassroots will be able to know who the, go at the days when somebody were Zeke, we'll be hearing Zeke, somebody we don't hear them, but they do go on campaign. But before then, we should be able to watch because of technology and see.
Okay, you said people at the grassroots. I want to bring in Professor now. Most of the debates we've seen, I don't know how far it goes to reach people at the grassroots. Does it actually trip the idea of people at the grassroots, or is it just for the elite at the urban centers who have access, maybe have more access to television and other technological means of accessing these debates when they are going on?
Yes, I want to say something about the past.
Okay.
I remember those days when we were small. The traders who didn't go to school, we buy newspaper. And we turn it upside down. Zike kwokwa, Zike kwokwa. It's like if you
Thank you.
That is, this time is no longer that type of Zike kwokwa. But how many people go to watch, listen to this public debate? How many people are there? Even when you present them there, the public cannot even push some questions to them, very striking questions, so that they will now not just be rhetorical. There are a lot of people, a lot of politicians who have sweet tongues. Somebody was saying that they kill people and take their tongues and they make a concoction so that when they talk, it will be sweet. What we want now is, tell us what is inside you. You, the politician, tell us what is in you about the nation. Have you studied the nation? Have you studied the environment to know where you will pin your attention? Because we have a lot of problems in the country. We have erosion, devastated areas. We have desert encroachment. We have flood, so on. Now, how can they look at these things? It's not just when flood comes up, you begin to rush people out. You have to have a focus, a push, not rhetoric. Obure Socha, I will give you fire. I will give you wife. I will give you water. I will give you... At the end of it all, it is now the person talking only to himself and acting in himself and by himself. But the democracy says, government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Are we used? That is one of the questions. When the public is now shouting against you, how do you react?
Okay. We are moving ahead, and those of you that are watching from home, you can now make use of the telephone lines on your screen and contribute your own ideas to what we're looking at this morning. That's a political debate in a democracy. Now I come to you, Kanayo Bidibo. According to Bill Clinton, the U.S. president, 1993 to 2001, I quote, "I am convinced that the debates I went through actually helped me to be a better president." Quote. Now, Kanayo, if this is true, why is it that some Nigerian, and by extension African leaders, decline the invitation to political debates?
You see, by nature, there are people who are, who cannot face such debates. I can comfortably say that, because, like the Prof said, it is on the debate people will ask you critical questions. Some of the time personal questions, which you will feel bad. And if you actually know that you have a lot of skeleton in your cupboard and you don't want to face the press, because in most cases, the general public will be there, the pressmen will be there. And they must have dug into your activities and come up with some critical questions they will ask you. And then you'll be forced in the general public. We will watch your character, your display.
Comrade, let's hold your thoughts. Let's take this caller. Hello. 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 You call us back.
So your person will actually be seen by the general public, and then from there you will be assessed as a presidential material, a gubernatorial material, a senatorial material, or assembly material.
Whatever.
Yeah. So
Okay, Prof. Let's get to Prof. Is it because we have so many skeletons in our cupboards, like Kanayo pointed out? Is that why our leaders avoid political debates?
Yes.
So can't those skeletons be,
The skeletons cannot be removed. It's already skeleton. It's already planted. So when you subject them to public debate,
yes,
somebody somewhere can raise that skeleton.
that's right.
It is not born.
But is it not proper to address those skeletons like we've adopted?
Before you come out
because
to express
why
your
I'm saying this
interest.
is, let me use American politics, for example, because those are the people we are copying.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that these people don't have skeletons in their cupboards. It doesn't mean that they have not underperformed at a particular level of their policy.
Excuse me, I want to interrupt you.
Okay.
The Americans, before one wants to be the president or whatever, he has a very long-term preparation.
Oh yes.
Yes.
They must clear their back before. Somebody can be at the age of 20 and wants to be president of a nation.
And start
He
planning.
will start from that
Working on it.
moment to build up good reputations around him. But if he's 50 years and wants to be a president of a nation, and he had committed a lot of atrocities in the past, a sensible person can dig out those atrocities and ask him the question, why was this? If this can happen, how can you react to this? And then the man can be infuriated.
Of course.
And then he wouldn't want anybody to disgrace him. And that's why they fail to attend.
And perhaps that's why we're having problem in leadership in this part of the world.
Yes.
Otherwise, how can somebody just wake up at the age of 60, 70 and say you want to be governor, you want to be president of a nation, when you have not built your character, I mean your career towards that direction?
Someone is joining us. Hello. Hello. Wow.
So, in actual fact, what Prof has said is what I meant by, people having skeleton. In 1988, when the presidential
You may need to speak up, please. You may need to speak up.
Okay, when the presidential campaign was going on in America, Gary Hart was almost, there was Gary Hart, there was Clinton, there was Jesse Jackson. So they were all pursuing this, and Gary Hart now put a challenge when it was asked, have you ever in your married life been seen with other women? And he said, I challenge you, if you have seen me with any other woman except my wife, please publish it. And there and then, those paparazzi that goes about capturing some good shots got him on a yacht with a Mrs. And there and then he resigned from campaign. His political ambition, his political
integrity.
In fact, was killed. That was it.
Yes.
You
So
see,
that was-
and in Africa, nobody resigns from any post.
That's right.
even if you get him, it's
There will still be a defense for
let's
that.
move on. Let's move on.
Still, let's look at the nature of the debates we see in Nigeria. You mentioned the case of the people having the ability to assess or ask questions. Now, we've seen debates in Nigeria where it is only the moderators that ask questions. You don't see questions from the audience coming. And at times, some of these debates are arranged in such a way that it's only based on invitation you can be part of those debates. Looking at those nature, do you think debates in itself is needful? Does it cover issues that it should cover? Does it deal with the real issues that touch the people?
Yeah, well, it is not just only the selected people asking the questions. It should be open to anybody. so that you don't just select you when I'm standing as a president and you are my friend. You will ask me questions that will be palatable. But you can get somebody who will be my enemy, greatest enemy. He will challenge my thought. He will challenge my future or my plan about the nation. Then, if I still see him when I'll be answering the question as a friend or as an enemy, particularly as an enemy, you see, my answer will be very different. People will knock me off that I cannot even face a hard time when I'm being the president.
Okay, to be able to buy time. Like we say that you can still make a conclusion using the numbers on your screen. Well, political debate is supposed to promote accountability of elected officials. But here, politicians quickly deny their campaign promises. And based on this, do you think we even need it at all?
We still need political campaign. We still need that debate. We are all witnesses of what happened during the presidential campaign in America when Trump came up with his immigration law that he's going to introduce, came up with the border patrol that he was going to fence off the Mexicans from moving across border from their frontiers. And that is what is happening today. He was targeting the influx of foreigners coming to America. And he said, I will do this. And nobody's holding him on that because he said, I must do this. The wall I must build. And today, this morning, children were tear gassed where they were crossing over. And he said it was the bottom line that they don't have any choice but to stop people who are coming to their country illegally. This is what a president
because he wants
should do.
to make good his
Thank you. So if we have political parties, they should have their manifesto. And based on their manifesto, which is like the article of faith of our contract with them, they should be able to live up to it. And then this will help in next campaign. If you haven't lived up to these expectations, then I am in the opposing party. I will now campaign against you that you have actually not lived by your words. I remember when we were small in Lagos, and I will be campaigning. And you will hear the Yorubas shouting, Onse boti wi awolowo, Onse, which means he does what he says.
Okay, in 2011, the CPC presidential candidate said he wouldn't be joining the political debate being organized by some civil society organizations based on the fact that he accused the presidential candidate then is the current president. He said that the questions were pre-arranged for his opponents. In 2011, he came back to say that he wasn't going to participate on the same accusations, and now he said he will participate, but the vice president will be representing him in that any debate being called for. How do we assess this engagement? Do we think the political class haven't also gotten to the level of accepting the political debate as a sine qua non for our democracy?
Well, I think a presidential candidate who refuses to see himself facing the press and facing Nigeria on public debate is not supposed to be a president.
That's right.
It's not supposed to be, because it means he doesn't know what to say. He has no plan.
No message.
He's afraid. Even the manifesto, he may not even interpret one of the manifestos.
But you know, some of these people will say that they are not good at speaking in public, but they are good managers of the resources handled.
Not at all. A person who cannot speak in public cannot be a good administrator. Cannot. The two meet. This is practical.
Okay.
This is analyzing. If
But
you cannot,
is it true, the accusation that he raised in 2011 and perhaps 2014, is it true that
there is a possibility?
There's possibility that these questions have been leaked to the opponents, knowing fully well the level of corruption in this country?
If I'm an intelligent president, if I'm running for Nigerian presidency, I don't mind. This is the Nigerian situation. Whatever question that is raised borders on Nigerian interest, borders on Nigerian security, borders on the Nigerian people. Why wouldn't I, if I actually want to be the president of this country? I'll be able to answer questions, no matter which angle it comes from. That will show you that I am all over the places, that I'm capable. So it should be, whoever wants to throw the question, let him throw it, but you should be able to answer it. That ability to answer questions, even from the enemy, gives you that confidence. to become the president of
There
this
is
country.
something else there. If the president or the presidential candidate delegates his vice
Or any other person.
or any other person, then that particular, I'm saying it here, that particular presidential candidate should be
Disqualified.
disqualified.
Disqualified by who?
By
Nigerians now.
By Nigerians or by INEC, because it's
No,
not
no, by
part of the
Nigerians
requirements.
this time.
It's not
By
capable.
Nigerians.
Yes.
Okay, that's exactly what's going to form our last question
By
this morning, because we
Nigerians.
are running
Because
out.
it's not
What do you
capable.
expect Nigerians to do with candidates that refuse to attend political debates?
Vote him out.
Okay, that's right. Nigerians have seen a political debate of other countries. Nigerians have seen presidential election of other countries. Our own should not be different. So if it doesn't meet the standard, when I mean the standard, I mean the standard all over the world, then we'll be able to cast our vote where we think.
Still a rider to this question. We've seen also political debates in outside the country.
Yes.
Let me take President Trump and
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton.
Clinton.
After the 3 debates they had,
Yes.
Hillary was on top
Good.
on debate rankings.
Yes.
But finally, President Donald Trump won.
Yes.
How do we look at this?
Okay, you
Does it
see-
mean that the people don't take this into play?
No, it becomes the technicality of voting in America. The technicality comes from the Electoral College. The technicality was not on the total vote cast. Based on the total vote cast in America, Clinton won. But based on the Electoral College, he has to win. That's the technicalities there.
Okay, you've already asked Nigerians to vote out those that
Yes.
refuse to attend.
If he appoints his deputy
Okay.
to go and speak for him, which means when there is trouble in the country, he will then delegate his deputy.
All
You
right.
understand?
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Professor.
Prof.
Professor Ifeanyi Ezako, the lecturer coming from Paul University, Oka. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Prof.
Thank you.
Okay, and then to our own friend in the house, Kanayo Obidibo, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having
Okay,
me
you doubled
this morning.
and that's good. Okay, I still ask you to stand by because we are coming back.